This is Real Estate Talk Boston. I'm Chris Devon, and right now I'm joined by a top agent and Boston power player, Matthew Montgomery from Hammond Residential. Matthew, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me once again.
Now, you're over in that Newton Brookline market, which is really segmented into a moderate price point versus the higher end. So starting off, what are you seeing in the high-end market right now?
It's really interesting. The high-end market in Newton and Brookline, they're slightly different. There's variations for both. So in Newton, we're really looking at properties $1.5 million up. They peak out around $4 million with some outliers at the 5, 6, and 7 range. And in Brookline, we really sort of watch the market start, the high-end market start around $2 million, and it just goes up and up and up. There's a lot of property in Brookline, or at least a fair number, sort of even north of $10 million. And the inventory this year has been really interesting. So we've had still very, very little property on the market in Brookline, even in the high end. The absorption's been very quick. We haven't seen stuff lingering unless it has issues. And in Newton, it's a much larger market. There's just a lot more property. So we've seen sort of different segments. There's sort of the mix of the big old houses that have been redone and then high-end new construction. There's been a lot of new construction built in the last couple of years. Developers have been very aggressive about buying land, and when the market began to turn in late 2012, they started getting to work, and we're seeing those properties come on the market now. There are options if you're a buyer in that price range. There's a fair amount of inventory on, you have a lot of choice, and you can kind of be a little bit more selective, where in Brookline you're going to get what you get, and you're just going to be happy that you got a great house, and hopefully for a reasonable price.
Sure. Now, that's single families. Are there condos available, new construction in that market?
Absolutely.
Right now as well?
So in both segments, in both the town of Brookline and the city of Newton, there is condominium inventory. In Brookline, there's a lot of it. A lot of it's more moderate, but there is high end. And those properties have also had very, very little inventory and really quick absorption. I recently broke a record for price per square foot sale of a condominium in Brookline. Came on the market around $1.9 million and ended up trading close to 2-3, multiple offers, and just a feeding frenzy on it. In Newton, there's a fair amount of trading going on in the high end. There's been a lot of high end condos built, mostly townhouses. It's a little bit of a different inventory, and that market's been very good. North of even $1 million, we look at as high end condo market in Newton, and a lot of that's been driven by the prices of single family sales of single families in that sort of same price point where there's just no inventory in that range, so people are trading and buying condos.
Sounds like you're in one of those markets where there are bidding wars going on. You really have to be ready if you're jumping into that type of market.
Absolutely. And this time of year, we begin to see it slowing down a little bit, and it's nice. We're kind of catching our breath, and there are buyers that are sort of out there being a little bit more selective if they're not in as much of a rush to find something, and they're trying to be a little bit pickier about what they're buying and what they're paying for it. But it's been a really, really great 2014.
Great information, Matt. And if you're buying or selling a home in the Newton Brookline area and would like to reach out to Matt and his team directly, you can do so by going to mjmrealestate.com. And remember, you can also tune in every Sunday morning right here on Radio BDC at 7 a.m. to get the real talk of Boston real estate.
Tune into Radio BDC Sunday mornings at 7 to hear Chris Devon and his guest list of top-notch local real estate professionals deliver the timely truths of the greater Boston real estate market.